So hear this clearly. Keep your woke, libtarded, demonic hands off my officers. Greetings to you who back the blue, and welcome to another segment of Facts Over Feelings, brought to you by Support Our Shields, where we cut through the noise and get straight to the unapologetic truth. And tonight, I'm not speaking as a pundit. I'm speaking as a witness. A witness to what happens when a nation is lied on, when law enforcement is demonized, and when evil is repackaged as activism. Because words have consequences. Narratives have consequences. And I'm sick and tired of our officers being placed in the crosshairs for people who are completely ignorant, or as I see it, evil. So of course, this is the viral story of the week, taking place in Minneapolis, Minnesota. A woman who moved from out of state to interfere with a lawful ICE operation. She didn't wander into it, and she didn't misunderstand it. This woman suffered from full-blown Trump derangement syndrome, as well as other problems. She inserted herself into federal law enforcement activity. And when the agents approached, she attempted to flee, using her vehicle. When she used that vehicle became a weapon. And instead of leadership, instead of clarity, instead of standing unequivocally with the officers who were placed in danger, we got politics. Mayor Jacob Frey rushed his silly ass in front of the cameras, and the spineless police chief followed, and what did they say?
And so, give me a break. No, he was not ran over. He walked out of there with a hop in his step.
He said the agent limped away. Limped. You see, that's how Minneapolis leadership described a federal agent nearly run down during an enforcement operation.
Get out of the car.
And this is what you get when you elect a full-blown ass clown.
To ICE, get the fuck out of Minneapolis.
Sit your soy boy punk ass down, trying to play tough.
Sit your $5 ass down before I make change.
We know who you are. We know exactly who you are.
Go home, Jacob, go home. Go home, Jacob, go home. Go home, Jacob, go home. No matter what.
So, I'm sorry. So daggum stupid. Jacob Fry, George Floyd's film of Crying Like a Bitch. I'm sorry. Crying.
Shout out to my big brother Vince Everett Ellison. See, and here's the deal. That language minimizes violence, that language excuses lawlessness, and that language invites the next attack. And that's really what they want. Because anyone who has a full functioning brain can see that they have been caught red-handed in this fraud, and they want the federal government and all of our investigators gone out of Minnesota. And they really don't care how many useful idiots they have to sacrifice to accomplish that goal. And speaking of useful idiots, then came the media. Not journalists, the propagandists. Rachel Maddow, Anderson Cooper, Chris Cuomo.
All right, but I'll tell you right now what should not be said, okay? FAFO. That is the worst post-tragedy message I have ever heard.
No, you shut up, because that's exactly what I'm saying. And I got the gear to back it up, Chris. Shout out to my big brother, Sheriff Bruce Zukowski. What they don't want to talk about is the fact that they are running interference and producing more Marxist programming. And then you got the worst of the bunch, Miss Mika Brzezinski of BS Now. And soon I hope she's unemployed just like her comrade Joy Reid, because she had the dumbest take of them all.
So if this guy is so sensitive and the victim of a trauma, what's he doing out in the field? It's just a question. Yeah, I don't understand what's going on here. He's been through an incredible trauma. Was injured in that trauma. He's out in the field. And that's the explanation. He's trigger happy because he's traumatized. Great.
So let me say this clearly, Marxist Mika, because I know that you're a little off. If every officer who suffered from PTSD stopped protecting this country, we would barely have a law enforcement officer left with more than 2 years of experience. If that, especially after the years of demonization pushed by these same well-paid elites. Yes, she is one of the orangutans, female imbecile that can't control her misery. And they get paid to push this woke garbage 24/7. They lie into the teleprompter for a living. And this is the kicker. This is the part I keep telling y'all. Many of these live behind gates in exclusive communities protected by private security. They will never walk a mile, hell, not even a yard, in these officers' shoes. Yet they sit comfortably and pass judgment on the men and women who stand between order and chaos every day. And that's not journalism. That's propaganda. And that's the problem. For some of you that may be new to this, let me hip you to the game. This is not one incident. And this is not rare. This is a pattern.
As the Jeep continued to advance, Officer Caprio got off one shot. WJZ won't show the rest, but a somber jury saw and heard Amy Caprio dying from massive crushing injuries.
Official line of duty death reports from 2020 through 2025 list over 50 law enforcement officers killed in incidents categorized as vehicular assault, intentionally striking or ramming, or vehicular homicide, criminal negligence, reckless driving, or DUI. Over 50 officers killed by vehicles used as weapons. And what does the Democrat Party and the leftist media do? They downplay it, they ignore it, they bury it. Just like they downplay or ignore the deaths of every American citizen killed by an illegal alien that they allowed into this country. See the connection? Same playbook, same silence, same contempt for the victims. Last year alone, 2025, these officers were killed by vehicular homicide or vehicular assault. And most of these heroes I've covered on this channel. And I don't even have 2,000 subs. See, I don't do it for monetization. I do it to honor the sacrifice and to wake people up. Sergeant Mark Butler, Sergeant Grant Candies, Officer Lauren Craven, Sergeant Thomas Duran, Sergeant Caleb Easworth, Captain Elio Garcia III, Special Deputy Sheriff Larry Henderson, Officer Hunter Samancic. Say their names. Yeah, say their names. Because I can tell you one thing that's for damn sure. These Marxists in the media will not. All the names that's running across the ticker for the remainder of this video, these are officers that were taken away from their families. Yeah, they had children too. They had wives. They were sons. They were husbands. They were wives. They were mothers. What about them? These weren't accidents. They were consequences. Consequences from the same leftoids that get on TV every day and sell you a pack of lies. They are protecting narratives. But this is facts over feelings, baby. For years, the left have told America that police are the problem, ICE is evil, borders don't matter, criminals are victims, and authority must be resisted. That is called anarchy. And it is of the devil.
And when they assist ICE, we say fuck you!
I say this over and over again. They defunded the police, they demonized the police, and then they dehumanized the police. And when you dehumanize someone long enough, then radicals feel justified attacking them. And that's why ICE agents are being doxxed. That's why death threats are flooding social media. And that's why in just the last 48 hours, we've seen open calls for these agents to be assassinated.
Marriott confirming they have fired the employee who leaked names, emails, and images of ICE agents staying at the hotel.
This is doxing. This is dangerous. Arrest them. Set an example. They're putting targets on our officers' backs.
Let me help you out, Abby. That's not protest. That's domestic terrorism. Let's just call it what it is. This is Marxist ideology in action, America.
These protests are pressing an agenda that is very much about destroying the United States from within.
This is what happens when a society rejects God, rejects truth, and replaces morality with perpetual grievance. You think this is a game? You think this doesn't have consequences? Look at the black community. It has not worked out for us. But yet you got groups like BLM done crawled out of the rocks again, and these paid protest networks that want another 2020. They lied then, and they are lying now.
ICE is a demon. Yeah. They are not human beings. They are killers. They're killing on target.
They will always lie because chaos is the goal. While they distract you with manufactured outrage, Democrats opened the border, flooded the country with millions of illegals, and committed fraud on the backs of hardworking Americans like you and me. And then they blame the very officers and the administration that is trying to restore justice and hold the line. Let me tell y'all something. Unlike many of you, I did not spend Christmas with my family. I spent 6 days traveling this country, standing with families who buried officers killed by criminals with no regard for the frickin' law. I looked at their colleagues in the eyes, those who will never see their partners again, and told them how my wife and how my church are praying for them every day. And like I said before, the reward for me on this side of heaven is putting my arms around these people and showing them that their lives matter. And I get to see the impact that it has on these people, knowing that someone came from hundreds, if not thousands of miles away to thank them in person, to tell them what their calling meant for me and how it changed my life for the better. And during that week, I had a lot of time alone to pray. And what I see coming is not good. Do y'all hear me? It is not good. When you've been in the belly of the beast, the iron triangle, when you know what's being unleashed in this nation, when you know what is being unleashed against law enforcement this year, especially ICE and Border Patrol, and we're already seeing it, I pray that none of them lose their lives. But I dread that some of them will. If these people aren't locked up and defunded, this is not a game. These people are showing you just how wicked and depraved they are. And you had better damn well start believing them. To every Christian, to every patriot, to every American who still knows right from wrong, this is the moment. Not just to speak, but to act. Hold the lamestream media accountable. It has to be done. Find their sponsors. Find their advertisers. Contact them. Bud Light them. Tell them why you will not support companies that fund lies and the destruction of our country. The president can't do this alone. Shout out to Nick Shirley. Shout out to Nick Sorter. And of course, the OG himself, James O'Keefe. And you know what? You may not be a citizen journalist like they are, but you can expose online extremists calling for violence. Document and report these people. And yes, call out your own. Even your Democrat plantation-loving, Trump-deranged relatives who spread these lies that put our officers in danger. Call them out.
On if law enforcement, let that be a police officer, ICE, some sort of DEA, any type of law enforcement officer, if they tell you to stop, let me give you a bit of advice. Stop!
I'm saying for the folks that's like, ICE agents ain't even real officers for real? Huh? You think they do volunteer work? These are federal agents. Y'all keep saying these ain't real cops. They're above regular cops.
Yes.
Okay? These Democrats and these mayors and governors are going to get y'all killed because they're the ones saying, go out there and block these federal agents. They're doing unlawful things. They're going to get y'all killed.
It's no more time for going along to get along. We don't want to talk about politics. We don't want to talk about religion. The hell we don't. That's how we got here. And you know what else? Call out these conservative platforms that make a living off clout chasing other conservatives, but ignore the people who are on the ground making an impact. Scripture says this: woe to those who call evil good and good evil. This is facts over feelings, and truth doesn't need permission. So hear this clearly. Keep your woke, libtarded, demonic hands off my officers. We will defend those who lay it on the line every day, standing in the gap. We will honor the fallen, and we will not bow to your wickedness or your lies.
What that headline leaves out is that woman is part of a broader left-wing network to attack, to dox, to assault, and to make it impossible for our ICE officers to do their job.
Thank you for watching another segment of Facts Over Feelings, brought to you by Support Our Shields. If you've been redeemed by the King of Kings, and if you love this nation and the freedom that it brings, then I am your brother, no matter your color. But remember this: life isn't fair, but God is just. Be blessed. Stand up.